What does star ratings mean? Well, 10-star house is theoretically pretty much a house that needs no active heating or cooling to keep comfortable between 18 and 21 degrees all year round. A 0-star house, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Our assessment is a very thorough assessment. 2 people go to the house, spend an hour and a half there each. One person is doing what we call the voice of customer. They're asking a lot of questions: heating, cooling, lighting, hot rooms, cold rooms. We get the bills. We reconcile all the energy across, for gas and electricity, across all the appliances, so we know how much the heater costs to run, for example. And the second person is doing the thermal rating, running around with the laser measuring device that we borrowed from the valuation industry that lets us get the plan very quickly. The thermal performance assessment, the star rating for the existing house, and also gathering data for our installers, because as you can see there, we assess, recommend and implement. So we also have a green button, which is the implementation option. So the roadmap, and by the way, these documents are on our website if you're interested to have a look. The assessment ranks all the thermal performance and appliance projects that you can do, and it gives you the payback, the impact on carbon pollution, the impact on comfort where it's relevant, and the star rating impact where it's relevant. And right, that's only about the thermal shell. And it tells you if the project is good or bad. So it might tell you, for example, that, if you've already got an instantaneous gas hot water system, then a solar hot water system is going to have a payback of 45 years. But it'll tell you that, right? So people can basically take this document and they now have a very clear picture on what they can do to move their house forward over time. The way we see our customers, it's not a transaction, and we're not going there just to sell something. As energy prices rise, solar energy, for example, will get more attractive, and people will come back and say, I want to do that now because my bill's too high. The focus for us at the moment is on renovator, because when people are renovating, they've got this usually one-off event of a decade, let's say, to renovate their house. This is actually the time to lift the star rating of the whole building, not just the renovation. This is usually the process that, if you're renovating, this is the process that you're facing. You may not need the planning permit, but in general, this is the process you're facing. So what I want to do now is just quickly go through, a minute each, 3 case studies about how we've helped different people. The first one was the building permit had already been issued, and the builder, in fact, was on site, but the owner found that the builder, and I'm sure none of you would have this problem, didn't know anything about sustainability. Couldn't answer his questions about, should I get double glazing, should I get single glazing. So he wanted us to do a roadmap, which is $895, which we did for him very quickly. Basically, it identified all of the thermal and appliance projects that could form this part of the scope of work for the renovation that would bring the star rating for the whole building up, position him for mandatory disclosure and what's coming. In this case, the builder, as I said, was there. The builder put the insulation in himself. He didn't know what the weather ceiling was. We wrote him a specification. The builder did it. We put the solar PV, we put the solar hot water. All the improvement projects resulted in an energy bill cut of 54%. In this case, the owner was a little bit upset at the end because his builder had already ordered single glazing. When he saw the star rating impact of double glazing, he would have done double glazing, but it was too late. The single glazing was on site. In this case, we came in at the working drawing stage. Now, because most of the existing building was being demolished, doing a roadmap didn't make sense because most of the building was going to be new. So we also provide a rating service, which we charge an hourly rate for. And it comes back, I think, to Jeremy's comment about, use the rating at the design phase. Don't wait to the end, because by using the rating tool iteratively, you can actually dramatically improve the design and get your star rating up and add value to the property. So in this case, there were some iterations back and forward. Initially, the building was 3.5. The building surveyor said we wouldn't be able to get it to 5. We did, with wall insulation and playing with some other things. Melanie went back and forward, and eventually we achieved 5 stars on that. The third case was where we came in very early. And in this case, a large part of the building was being maintained. So we did a roadmap. We ranked all the projects, but we did additional ratings as required to satisfy the building surveyor. So we convinced the building surveyor to move away from deemed to satisfy, and to go with ratings. And we worked with the architect. Now, when the architect first gave us the drawings, the notated drawings, the rating went from 1 to 1.5 based on what she'd notated. When we included the projects that we had identified in the roadmap, it went to 4.5. For example, there were 2 chimneys in this house. Just by damping those chimneys, we got a star. We cut the energy bill by 23% with those thermal projects. And probably the most interesting thing here was that the building surveyor, when he saw that the building was rated at 4.5, he said, that's not good enough, we have to get to 5 on the whole building because you're greater than 50% of volume. You're going to have to double glaze the existing living room. And the bill was $15,000 to double glaze this existing living room. When we went back to him and said, look, we've rated the existing building the way it is now and it's only 1. His response was, oh, that's a significant upgrade, I'll let it go at 4.5 then. So we saved $15,000 for the client because we could show him what the existing building star rating was. And in this case, this shows you on a typical winter's day, that's